everybody, my name is Amy. I'm doing my presentation at a school district. I actually did my presentation already a few weeks ago to the staff, and it was kind of like a little board that I put up, and it had like pictures of different snacks that are popular among students, like hot Cheetos, a can of soda, M&Ms. So I put the object on the board, and then I put like how much sugar or fat to give a visual representation. For example, the Coke, I put it on the board, and then it has like 40 grams of sugar, so I measured out 40 grams of actual sugar, put in a little Ziploc bag, and stapled it with the Coke to kind of represent how much sugar you're consuming if you drink a Coke, just to kind of give like a visual representation of what is going on in foods. So I started talking about the two main additives in processed foods, which is added fats and added sugars. So we have added sugars. This can be seen as any sugar that's not naturally occurring. This is usually used to alter the taste of food or keep foods preserved, but it offers no nutritional benefits. Then there's added fats. So these are fats that are added. Obviously, some are naturally occurring in foods. The quality of fats does make a difference because there's different fats that are good for you that we need, and then there's some that should be avoided completely or most of the time. I also talked about the medical implications of obesity. So having the sleep apnea, there's obesity, diabetes, stroke, infertility issues among women. A lot of this stems from complications of obesity. I began by talking about sugars. I said that they're a form of carbohydrates. Sugars are also they're essential aspect of diet. We can't just completely avoid sugars. All sugars or carbohydrates are metabolized into glucose, and we need glucose for energy production. However, the type of sugar that we eat does make a difference, even if it is metabolized the same. This is because naturally occurring sugars, usually found in fruit, contain the added fiber, added nutrients, and minerals, which actually benefits our body and helps us function appropriately. Added sugars don't offer the fiber, don't offer the vitamins, the minerals. So what happens is you get this huge sugar spike, known as a blood sugar spike, and then over time you kind of just get this crash. You feel really hungry very fast, and you kind of feel very lethargic. That's what happens when you eat the processed sugars. Doesn't really happen when you eat added sugars. I also talked about the forms of carbohydrates. So there's three forms: sugar, starch, and fiber. Main one I focused on was sugar. There's single sugars and double sugars. So single sugars are like glucose, what we use to metabolize foods. There's galactose, that's only found in milk, and there's fructose. So then again, I rapidly talked about the implications of the two types of sugars. Something I read about is that added sugars are just empty calories. You don't feel satiated after eating them, and actually long-term consumption actually increases ghrelin. So ghrelin is a hormone that your stomach releases when you feel hungry. Research suggests that the more sugar that you are consuming, the quicker ghrelin gets released in the body, making you feel hungry. I also talked a little bit about how sugar affects the brain. I'm actually working on my our paper that's due at the end of our program. Mine is on the effects of sugar in the brain. So actually 20% of glucose consumption is used up by the brain, meaning our brain relies heavily on glucose to function. So studies have shown that long-term hyperglycemia episodes have destroyed cognitive function, leading to dementia. This is because glucose is essential for the body. When that metabolism or that pathway is skewed, obviously there could be misleading signaling within the brain, causing that to not function appropriately. That's kind of the basis of what I talked about for sugars. Now I'll just get into talking about what I spoke at my internship for fats. So like sugars, fats are an important aspect of a healthy diet. They make a significant difference. We have to eat fats to stay healthy. Fats help us absorb fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. They also protect our organs, keep us insulated. They're essential to toddlers and infants in helping their brain grow, helping them grow accordingly. They also promote healthy skin and nails. One of my internships, my very first, there were some patients that I noticed that were very malnourished. The first thing I'd notice is the thin hair or the pale skin, the brittle nails, and my preceptor told me that this is usually due to not enough fat sources. So I think this is very important to consume. There's various types of fat. So there's saturated fat, unsaturated fat, and trans fat. Within the unsaturated fat category, there's two different categories. There's monosaturated fats and omega-9s. There's also polysaturated fats. So different types of fats. So unsaturated fats, they're the healthiest form of fat. They increase our HDL, or good cholesterol, and decrease our LDL, low cholesterol, can help reduce inflammation in the body. So what happens in your body, basically, you have cholesterol or plaque buildup in an artery. The HDL kind of comes and dissolves that calcified plaque and excretes it through the liver. If there's too much LDL, the opposite effect happens, and more cholesterol builds up in the arteries, blocking them. Saturated fats are considered the in-between fats. They're okay to consume, but high amounts can lead to disease. These are found in foods that we can't avoid, so that dairy, eggs, red meats. Most processed foods are also high in saturated fat, so this is where the processed foods come into play. I mentioned I put a bag of hot Cheetos on my board. It was just an empty bag of hot Cheetos that I laminated and I taped to my board. And each bag has about like 15 grams of fat, saturated fat. So I grabbed like canola oil, put 15 grams of oil in a little bag, and then I taped it to the hot Cheeto bag to kind of physically represent how much fat somebody would be consuming if they eat this bag of hot Cheetos. Next we have the trans fat. So these are the fats that should be avoided at all costs. The FDA actually stated that there's no safe amount of trans fat to consume. Even little amounts can be detrimental to your health. These are found in a lot of processed foods, baked goods. So yeah, this one should be definitely avoided the most. And kind of my conclusion to all of this was how to read food labels, since this was my topic of discussion. It's very important working at a school district how to teach students to read nutrition labels in a healthy manner, as well as just for your own benefit when you're going out to groceries. Now there's so many options of foods that you can pick from. I start to look at the top of the nutrition label, so that's where it says the serving size and serving size per container. I made sure to emphasize to pay attention to the serving size per container. A lot of the times, food companies will label a food item saying, oh, only 100 calories per serving in a little font. And then you turn around, you look at the nutrition label, and you notice that there's like 5 servings or 3 servings. So that triples, quadruple the calories, and can very drastically increase your calorie consumption or the fat or sugar consumption, since you have to multiply it by the serving size, which can make a huge difference if you're not aware of what you're eating. I also told the staff to check calories and to look at the total sugars, to see if there's any added sugars, to see if there's fiber, where are they getting these sugar sources. Also to look at the ingredients to see if there's any types of saturated fat, what saturated fats they're using. Examples of this are like palm oil, vegetable oil, shortening, peanut butter. Examples of added sugars are cane sugar, fructose, malt sugar, juice concentrate, fruit. So that's kind of what I said, to just be mindful of what you are picking at the grocery store. Kind of pay attention to how much sugar you are consuming and how much you're intaking, as well as how much fat. And that's it.